Yo, what's up? Andresen here, and I'm here to talk about the new buffs that are coming to Warlock on the new Dragonflight 10.06 PTR development nodes, February 14. They haven't reached live service yet. They're on the PTR, and yeah, I don't think every single one of these buffs are gonna hit the servers because this is kinda insane. So let's go over them real quick. So Soulkeeper is getting a damage increase by 100% again, but the caveat is that you can no longer use multiple Soulkeepers if one Soulkeeper is already active. And yeah, this is just a super great change. And I'm so excited to do Soulkeeper in Keys now, which I think will be relevant in Keys. But then the next line is Inquisitor's Gaze damage is increased by 270%, which is a lot. I will actually show you some of my locks, and we can go through how much Inquisitor's Gaze's damage does on my overall, and how I feel like 270% is a lot, a big increase. So let me show you that real quick. Okay, so here we have my Terra's heroic kill and my Kurok progression mythic kill. And as you can see, Filberage does 1.44% of my damage in a split cleave situation like Kurok Grim Totem, and it does around 2% on a single target focused boss like Terra's. These are both with Destruction Warlock. But this change, a 270% change to this Fill Barrage, is actually gonna do a lot more, like a lot more damage, which is just more overall, and you're just gonna be more on top, which is super cool. Alright, so next up is Gorfiend's Resolved, Desperate Pact, and Greater Banish has been removed. I can quickly show you what these talents are. Gorfiend's Resolve is this talent node, is useless, is with the Soulstone additional health and mana. Desperate Pact is drain life heals for 15% more while below 50%, and Greater Banish this one. So these three nodes are getting removed, and to replace them is to replace them is the new talent Sagaray's Technique, which is just a straight up damage increase to Shadowbolt, Drain Soul, and Incinerate, like depends on which class you're playing. And to Shadowbolt and Drain Soul, it's gonna be 8 to 15%, and for Incinerate, it's gonna be 5 to 10%, is what I'm reading. And yeah, this is just very, very strong compared to what we had before. This is just damage, which we needed. Super, super cool. And the next talent is Sacrifice Guile. This is Agony, Wild Imp, and Immolate damage increase, which is again just a lot more damage to us. Super fucking cool. And yeah, Sacrifice Guile has been added to the class tree in Accurate Vitality's old location. Lifeblood has moved to Nightmare's previous location. All this is we need to play around with it. It's utility changing. They have told us that Sacrifice Guile is moving to where the Accurate Vitality location is, and they've moved some utility nodes around for this to fit in, which is super cool. I really, really like this. But I'm gonna skim over these, as these are less important to the main buffs, and more of a play around thing when we finally get our hands on this change. So yeah, we're gonna go through Affliction. Dark Glare has been redesigned. Summons a Dark Glare from the Twisting Nether that extends the duration of your damage over time effects on all enemies by 8 seconds. The Dark Glare will serve you for 20 seconds, blasting its target for shadow damage increased by 25% for every damage over time effect you have active on the current target. This is super good, super nice to see they're changing Dark Glare to be a little more useful. And the big ones are the Savian Technique and Harvest of Souls has been removed from the Affliction tree. As you remember, Savian Teachings is the node you had to take for Corruption to be instant cast on Affliction, and it's now baseline for Affliction, which is just huge. It's so nice. Now you have another talent point to spend, and you don't have to waste your talent point on Savian's Teachings, because you kinda needed it all the time, and the class felt clunky without it. Super great change, I really, really like it. Then there is the Harvest of Soul, which has finally been removed. Harvest of Soul is the infamous doing no damage whatsoever. You would never take it in any circumstances, and it just made it a little messy moving down the tree. And what they've added instead of Harvest of Soul is this new talent um, called Dark Virtuosity, which is just increased Shadow Bolt and drain soul damage by 15 or 30% depending on how many points you put into it, which is just super strong. They've also added Kindled Malice. Kindled Malice increased Malefic Rapture and Seed of Corruption damage by 8 to 15%, which is also so much cool shit. I stepped over this one. Arrive in Agony has been moved to row 3 of the Affliction talent tree and is now rank 1, which is again super nice change. Because what we have to remember about Affliction is the Affliction's core problem was that the talent tree was a little bit clunky to get through, and there was a lot of shit you didn't want to take that you had to take, and yeah, it just made it messy to move down the row. So yeah, and this again, new talent, increased rapture and seed of corruption damage, super strong, and they've moved around with a lot of the talent nodes. And now for the big one also, Demonology is getting a lot of buffs and a lot of changes. I'll just quickly change. Oh, I'm already Demonology. That's good. Okay, so Reign of Tyranny now increases the damage of Demonic Tyrant by 50% in addition to its original effect. This means that this is just a 50% buff to this talent, and it's crazy how much percent you can get your Demonic Tyrant damage up to now. Because now, no matter when you summon the Tyrant, it'll do 50% more damage with Reign of Tyranny. And if you have a lot of imps and a lot of all of your Felguard, your Dreadstalkers, and maybe also Vilefiend now, because you want to get this Reign of Tyranny up to as many stacks as you can. This is going to be a huge game changer. This is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage and might actually make Demonology viable in single target again, because you've seen them drop off a little bit in raid. The Affliction and Destruction has kind of taken over at least the single target side and a lot of the other bosses. So yeah, this is super cool to see. And now there's a new talent. This talent is gonna be a choice talent with Guillotine. You're either choosing this talent or Guillotine, and this talent is Immutable Hatred. When your primary Felguard's Legion Strike damages only one target, its damage is increased by 120%. 120%. I can't read. Your primary Felguard deals physical damage after auto-attacking the same enemy 3 consecutive times. And this is just again trying to make Demonology stronger in single target, and I really like this talent. You might run this talent instead of Nether Portal now. You might run Infernal Command in this talent instead of the Nether Portal row. This is very possible. Like this is a possibility. So yeah. Then we also gained this new talent called Umbral Blaze, which is a Hand of Gul'dan has a 8 to 15% chance to burn its target for additional Shadow Flame damage every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. And yeah, this is also super cool. And Umbral Blaze, this talent has been added to where the tree in the like the Hounds of War was in the previous stream, and I can show you where the Hounds of War was. It's right here. You never took it at all, so this is super cool to see that Umbral Blaze is taking its place, and Hounds of War has been removed from the Demonology tree. Pact of the Imp Mother has been buffed a little bit. It now has an 8 to 15% chance, was 5 to 10% chance to cast Hand of Gul'dan a second time. It's this talent right here. I still don't think we're gonna take it, but maybe we'll just have to see. This is at least a substantial buff. And Guillotine has been damage has been increased by 200%, which is a lot. This might make us run Guillotine all the time in keys, which I kind of dislike, because I feel like the ability is clunky and kind of unusable on some packs. I don't like it too much, but it's nice to see that we're getting buffed. But yeah, Guillotine is getting giga buffed, which is surprising. And Stolen Power now triggers after 75 applicants and was 100. It's the thing it's referring to is this talent right here, When your Wild Imp cast Fill Firebolt, you gain an applicant of Stolen Power. After you reach 100 applicants, this is going to be 75 applicants. Your next Demon Bolt deals 60% increased damage, or your next Shadow Bolt deals 60% increased damage. We'll see how good this is. I still don't think it's going to be viable. I don't think we'll take it, but we'll see. And yeah, the small changes to Destruction is Burn to Ashes now stacks up to 6 times, and Mayhem is now tracked on the personal resource bar. This was pretty much it, but these changes are massive for Warlock. I am almost 100% certain that they will backtrack on some of these talents, because we are gonna be way too strong with these changes, way too strong. These changes has primarily been focused around single target, but we also have some huge AoE buffs like Summon Soulkeeper damage increased by 100%, and we also have as Demonology the Guillotine damage increased by 200%. Like, there's just so much good stuff here, and it's so, like, the buffs are so significant. So yeah, we'll see if this makes it to live. I don't think it will, but I just wanted to get this video out here. You can subscribe if you want, and like the video if you thought it was entertaining or helpful. But yeah, see you guys. Thank you for watching.